Or ever.
Yeah, because as long as this fucking season's been, doesn't mean we have to do a recap that lasts just as long.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, ma'am, no ham, no.
No green eggs and ham? Is that where
No
you were
green
going
eggs
with that?
and ham. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my. All right. Turn the notifications off. Pull up the show. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the pre-show.
Yay. It's a pre-show.
In case y'all are wondering what the hell's going on.
Are about to go alive to talk about the finale.
Q's in the house.
Yay.
James, Andrew. Cakes is here. Hey, honey. Hey, David. So Cake saw me between the last time we recorded and now, and he said, "You do really good with that. You should do broadcasting." Oh, I told him, I was like, "No, me and a teleprompter being told what to say? I don't think so."
Teleprompter.
Eric.
No, I don't want to say that.
Script? I don't need no script. All right.
David Donnell is new. Hello.
Yeah, so David is who I refer to as Cakes or Cupcake, the lady cupcake. He's been to Drench for a number of years. I'm trying to remember if you were there, Chester, the year that he did a number with a big poster for karaoke. Yeah.
Hi, Roby.
Hey, hello. Hi.
Hey, Roby.
Oh. Well. Welcome to the show.
It's going to be an interesting one.
Indeed.
All right.
Or maybe not, because,
Perhaps all three of us have the exact same thing to say about it.
Well, I usually think about those things and leave them for you guys to talk about.
Well, I know I've seen, let me go back to the doc real quick that we work off of. I know there's at least one thing. Oh, two things. Three things. All right. Out of the four things that you're going to say, Chester, three of them I'm completely understand and I'm on board with. One of them, when you explain it, I'm sure I'll be there too.
All righty. Well, with that being said, shall we get the show on the road?
Yeah. Let's go, shall we?
10 across the board. COL Drag Race.
Hey, kitty girls, it's Monday, July 2nd, 2018. Welcome to Cubs Out Loud Drag Race T-Time, Season 10, Episode number 14, a.k.a. finally the finale.
The finale. A to the man.
I'm exhausted. I'm gay and I'm tired and I have a sticker in my chat to prove it. For those of you that don't know, my name's Gary. I'm one of the co-hosts here for Cubs Out Loud. Here we do a little thing called Wiggles, COLDR. And with me are my ever fabulous two stalwart co-hosts, hip pads and all.
hip pads and all. I don't need hip padding. I'm hippie enough. Hey everyone, it is Damon. Welcome to the show.
Hi, I am Chester, and my stuff is different.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention to the stuff behind the screen.
Pay no attention to the shit behind the curtain.
It's an in-process reveal. All will be explained later.
Of course.
Before we get into discussing episode 14, though, we got something else to talk about a little bit.
Ooh. Oh.
All right, so
I don't remember that being one of Rue's favorite 2 drag songs.
You are correct. There is no room for feedback in the finale, apparently. That was not one of the Janet Jackson numbers. That being said, so episode 13 was the reunion. I called it Reunited. So on Facebook, or actually we got an email that came to us about COLDR that takes us over to Facebook. And so Tiny Dreamer, cute name, says it inspired a lot of conversations. That's for damn sure. All the hashtags, hashtag Team Vixen BTW. This is about the reunion. And then there's a link. And it goes to Tiny Dreamer's public post about the RuPaul's Drag Race Season 10 anti-villain edit. And it's pretty lengthy, but basically makes an interesting case about the fact that, you know, how you kind of splice and dice a show together shows a person a certain way. And went through and basically made a compilation video of clips that comes to about 33 minutes, I think. And it focuses on the Vixen versus Aquaria, the Vixen versus Eureka, the Vixen and Asia, O'Hara talking, and Eureka's decision surrounding Kingsley's placement, the episode 13 reunion with and it ends with the Vixen's live Instagram response. So this link's going to be on our website if you want to go check it all out for the Facebook stuff to read, and then you can also watch what they put together. Yeah, I can understand why someone felt compelled to basically say, hey, I think this is something that should, you know, really kind of be focused on, that when you go onto the show, you're kind of characterized. And perhaps if you look at it a different way, you might see things just a little from another perspective. So yeah, and so we appreciate you sending that in. I went through, I read the post, and I watched. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the whole video because again, I'm gay and I'm tired. It's the beginning of July and I'm all prided out for right now. But no, it's definitely worth looking into, and I've already seen the Instagram video thing about what Vixen had to say. Everybody's got their side of the story. And for me now, it's very difficult to know where the truth lies. Because as we're about to get into, there are stories even about what the hell happened at the finale versus what we saw.
Huh.
Yeah. So that being said, let's jump into our topic, shall we?
Yes.
All right, so new audio clip, Call Me Mother, because it's the finale and
Why not?
there isn't many Maxi, blah, blah, blah. You know, the whole thing changes up. So I thought we'd talk about the opening segment and the intros, kind of what stood out. Notably, season 1 got a shout out. So queens from season 1 cast were allowed to be on the stage for the first time. As Rue says in the audio overpiece, they got season 1 cast with season 10 lighting. And so they were all told, they all got the memo, wear gold, bitches, look like awards or statues for when you get introduced. So they got to come back, and of course Rue's there, the judges are introduced, the entire cast from season 10. So Chester, what did you think about the opening, or the beginning, I should say?
I lost my notes. Okay, so I was just purely going off of their looks. I thought almost everyone looked fantastic. Notably, I have a list of the ones that I just absolutely loved. I thought Monique's cow print was fantastic.
Yes.
The reveal that she does in the cow print, or is it giraffe or whatever print that's supposed to go to? Pretty sure it's supposed to be cow. And then she's got the cowbell. I thought it was phenomenal.
Yes.
Agreed.
I loved Monet Exchange's throwback to her sponge dress. I thought it was really nice looking. Could have been executed better.
Yeah.
I thought Cracker looked amazing.
Cracker looked like she was going to slay everyone. Like she had this very dark, like, fuck you, fuck all of you.
Cracker looked like she needed to be holding a wooden dagger.
Yeah.
Like she was gonna go slay some vampires or some shit. I thought the Vixen looked fantastic. Purple and gold is definitely her colors. Asia looked wonderful. That's for the season 10 queens. The season 1 queens, none of them really stood out except for Angina looked great, and so did Nina Flowers. I loved Nina's look altogether.
Oh my God.
So for the most part, everybody either looked, to the 10s, they looked phenomenal. There were some that were okay, you look decent enough, but there was one in particular that just I couldn't, I was just weirded out, not weirded out, but trying to figure out, why are you wearing that? And that would be Calorie. Calorie's outfit was so bad.
Okay, I won't call it bad. I think the issue with Calorie's outfit was when you place her with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I went to my normal like my great person, and I asked him to make me something extravagant. And she went like, I'm going to the finale. Let me look in my closet and see what I've got.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like, yeah.
Everybody else put time, thought, energy,
oh my God,
money into it.
Yeah. And Calorie was like, this will do. Yeah. And it just, in comparison to everyone else, it looked basic.
Exactly.
I will say that Calorie looked better than she had during the season. So she checked that box. But, well, compared to the money dress, it was definitely a step up. But yeah, I mean, it did, when you compared them side by side, you saw what everyone else was wearing. She looked like she showed up for a local title contest, not for season 10 finale that's going to be broadcast around the world.
Or she looked like she was showing up for a Pride event.
Yeah, like Pride Night at Kings Island.
So there's that. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention, and unfortunately I don't know who the Vixen was dancing with, but there was a dance-off portion where season 10 queens were paired up with season 1 queens. I don't know who the Vixen was dancing with.
Akasha.
Okay. So you know how every season there's always the challenge, the makeover challenge, where you're supposed to look like a drag daughter or a drag sister? Those two looked perfect together.
Yeah.
Akasha had on that outfit that had it was all gold throughout it. She had purple accents, her lipstick was purple, and then you've got the Vixen, all in purple and black with gold accents. They looked like they were, drag sisters. They looked phenomenal together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I agree with you. Like, I feel like they did, either they talked before. No, actually, I believe that they had a conversation before, like, the number started or sometime during the day, because they knew they were probably going to be paired together. Because not only did they look very much alike, they danced very well together. Like, it was almost like it was
Right.
choreographed. So I was sitting there like looking like, okay, Akasha, when you came out like at season 10, you look like you were not being bothered by the fact that you were here. You're like, okay, it's season 10, whatever. Like, you look very just like, what the fuck ever. But then we get to this number and I was like, oh, okay. Like, you and either, like I said, you and the Vixen must have done like some talking.
I think they all did. It was like during a stage rehearsal.
Yeah.
That everybody got together and said, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to play this song. So you guys, figure out a small little choreography, because I noticed that there were a couple of other pairs of queens who did the same thing. They made very similar movements.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay.
That's it for me.
Damon?
Kind of piggybacking on what Chester was saying, I said clearly some came to improve. As we've seen in years past, the finale is usually when like we see like some very awesome, like great looks from the girls from the season. Usually something we've never seen before. Usually something they look a lot better because obviously they're in like a boot camp at drag queen during the show, and it's been a few months, so we kind of get to see them in different light. I have a few different people that I was particularly highly fond of. Asia was one of them. I loved Asia's look. Blair St. Clair with the like black and like brownish kind of color polka dotted like Southern Belle look with the wig. Oh, it was so good. And of the queens, the one that I loved the most was Dusty Ray Bottoms. I loved her look. I loved all the stuff that she did. It just worked so well for me. I am genuinely upset that we did not get to see more out of her, because if that's like her at like top A game, I would have loved to have seen her, grow more through the competition. So, and I totally agree with you, Chester. I think Calorie kind of phoned it in. I feel like a couple of things were a little underwhelming, but I get why they did it. It's still, you're still appealing to your fans, you're still appealing to the audience. So like Monet Exchange's dress, while nice and looks like well constructed, was kind of not, I wouldn't call it basic. I'd call it like basic plus, but obviously she was throwing back to the whole sponge and all of that shit, which yay, go for her. She's got a gimmick. I was happy to see the season 1 queens, and one queen in particular was one that I was really happy to see, Rebecca Glasscock, because I have not seen her since season 1. And it was kind of interesting to see, and Akasha was the other one, but really Rebecca Glasscock to me was like, oh my God, like, I'm so glad to see you, because I thought she had a really negative time after the show, and I thought she was never going to do anything with the show again, which could be understandable.
I think one of the two of them, and I thought it was Rebecca, had actually retired from drag and quit, and then agreed to come back for this because they were asked. But I'm not sure. Like, I don't know exactly which one it was, but that was a rumor I saw online that she And actually, I think she did an interview article like on why she agreed to come back, which I was like, okay, girl, like.
Yeah, but that's really it. You know, this is their at least at the introduction and everything else. This is their kind of their last chance to really impress everyone and show everyone, you know, I'm still a queen. I'm still, you know, great, and
I'm still relevant.
yeah, and again, I feel real. Like I said, I wish that Callie would have done something different. I don't know what, but I feel like she could have done something different. For me, hers reminds me a lot of Nacia Lopez from the finale, like a few years ago, where everyone was like this big, you know, extravagant look, and she had this very straight hair and a red dress, and it was just very like basic. It didn't wow, it didn't excite. So
So I agree with you that it appears some came to impress, others not so much. Yeah. So I have a question. Where was Tammy Brown? Because notably, there are 9 queens that were in the very first season. 8 of them showed up for the finale. Miss Tammy Brown was nowhere to be seen. Now, she may have been booked with another gig. I haven't seen anything posted online, but notably, her and Rue have not exactly always gotten along.
True.
So I don't know if that's going to feed the rumor mill that, you know, she's banned from World of Wonder and Rue or whatever. But yeah, I noticed, because then it got weird because there were 10 queens that were not the top 4, and then there was 8 queens out of the 9 from season 1, so they had to repeat a couple queens to do the matchups. So like, yeah, it wasn't going to work out perfectly by numbers anyways, because it would have been 9 to 10, but instead it was 8 to 10. So I was like, oh, what's that about? I thought, you know, that overall the opening looked pretty good. I mean, I don't really have anything different to say that you guys about what people wore and how they presented themselves. So there were 2 reveals, right? Monique Hart turned the jacket into the dress type deal, and Eureka O'Hara dropped the big Southern Belle hoop skirt looking type dress to reveal the velvet skirt.
About that dress,
yeah.
Do you think it was an intentional for it to just slowly lower down, or
I can ask Jim to confirm, but I feel like those hoop skirts have like rings in them, and that they do collapse like that. But I don't know if they collapse that slowly, but that may also depend on the fabric around it, how what the word I came from. I'm not going to say gravity, but just how
I'm going to call it physics.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Was it planned, or did she just say, you know, let gravity do its thing?
I think she benefited from the fact that it went slow.
Yeah.
Because if it was a fast reveal, I don't think it would have been as dramatic. I mean, it would have been a reveal, but I think everyone expects a fast reveal. So to see it just kind of collapse and float down to the floor at the same time, I was like, oh, that's interesting. But the moment she walked out, I was like, all right, Eureka O'Hara. Yeah, there was definitely a callback, like, kind of thing. And then it was funny because then I watched it again tonight right before now, and I was looking at it, I was like, I guess that kind of looks like a curtain fabric. I mean, to be fair, I think that's what we're really working towards. So I will say this: I love Eureka as a brunette. Like, I guess we see her so much as a baguette. I mean, a blonde, you know, loaf, sourdough, rye, whatever. Sorry, she's known for it, but like, she's always light haired, you know, like dark edged, light haired, whatever. So it was nice to be like, oh, you know, big girl can actually put on a dark color wig, and you know, or opposes to, like, you know, lavender or something.
O'Hara.
Oh, you were so Nara. Oh, girl, putting shit on your head. Eric says, I know that in her Insta, she called it her Scarlett O'Hara look. Yeah. So that part was pretty much on. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the opening, the intros was interesting. I agree that a couple of the season 1 queens, their faces kind of read like, I'm here because I was asked to be here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, somebody came to collect the check. Thank you very much. I got my $100 or whatever the fuck it was for showing up. Like, I don't know. I'm guessing it was, yeah. Some of them definitely seemed to be
felt
ready.
very came phoned in, and some, I mean, and well, you know, it's been 10 years. BB's the only one that's been recently back on the show, and Nina, I think, I don't know. I don't think she's the only one, but for me, like, of the queens from season 1, there are 3 that kind of I always remember. Well, 4 if you count Tammy. 3 that always kind of I recognize and I'll remember, and that's Chanel, BB, and fuck, her name just left my head. Nina Flowers. My God.
I will always remember them.
The queens I always remember
until I can't.
But yeah. So
yeah, I mean,
the other one,
I think all of them look the way I expected in a way. I mean, Angina looked gorgeous. I mean, she's always been a cute, petite drag queen. She looked really good. Chanel looked just like a Vegas showgirl as expected. Pork Chop surprised me a little bit because her hair was as big as her torso. I wasn't ready for like 4-story hair, but she's still a bigger girl, so it works on her. I will say this though, and I'm gonna call this out right now. BB Zahara Benet, if you're gonna show up as the season 1 queen, where's your season 1 crown?
She sold it.
Damn. Well, she didn't get that much money, so she had to do something with it.
That $25,000 went quick.
That's the first thing I noticed. She walks out, and I thought that crown don't look like the season 1 crown. I don't remember it specifically, but I'm pretty sure it looked a lot more basic than that one does. And sure enough, I went back and I saw a clip of the season 1, and I went, oh yeah, that looked like any drag pageant crown you could buy anywhere. It was not special in any way, shape, or form. And then she shows up at the reunion, and I was like, oh, funny. You replaced your own crown. I call a little shade on that. It's her prerogative. She can do what she wants. I'm just not happy about it. So there was in the chat, James had asked, why did the show stop using O'Hara as part of her name? Eric says, I'm just wondering if it was to keep Asia and Eureka separated. So I didn't read this, but my understanding is between season 9 and season 10, Eureka legitimately made the decision to drop O'Hara from her name because she did not want to be continually confused and connected to the O'Hara house, which is Fifi O'Hara and Asia O'Hara and the rest of them. I think Eureka picked that name without maybe even knowing of them when she started her drag career or soon after, and then realized like, oh, maybe I should not do that. Because I know in season 9, she was asked, I guess, frequently about that being connected to Fifi O'Hara and that kind of stuff. So
no, I feel like her name was longer.
Drew. Oh shit, I have to go back on stage. I better run to Tiaras R Us. Shady. That's another thing that annoys me about this.
Much alcohol.
There is so much like about this series that annoys me. This isn't giving anything away. So we jump to the end of the show and we have a crown and a scepter, and I'm like, that crown don't look like any other crown. What is going on with this? Can we not like just get a consistency on this? I don't. It was bugging me. I was like, okay, now we got to have like a more angular, pointy crown, and yeah, and it's got lots of gold in it. And well, anyways, I'm gonna quit my bitching. Are we ready to move on to our next segment?
Yes.
All right, so it's the finale. Mama Ru has a chat. Notably, there's been a big change. That is that nobody gets to talk to Ru unless you're in the top 4. You 10 bitches that didn't make it to top 4, you don't get a lick of anything. Now, I can't remember if they did it the same way in season 9, but I remember for years everybody got at least a question. There was a little bit of a something. And this year they were like, and that's what stood out to me was nope. Let's start with the top 4.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I wonder if it had to do with the fact that the people are there watching the show take after take after take and are there all fucking day. But even so, how much work is it to ask them all one question? 15
well, I think
minutes.
And I wonder if it also has to do with the fact that I don't know how long it was on TV. Was it 2 hours on television? Does anyone know?
It was with commercials, it was an hour and a half.
Okay. So maybe that has something to do with it, because I think in the years past, it's been like 2 hours. So they have that 2 hours to fill. I don't know about last year. I can't remember the finale last year.
So Chester, let's talk about the interview with the top 4.
Was Cameron under the influence of anything, something? I don't know. I've never watched pageant queens, but seeing her up there being, really wide-eyed and constantly doing this wherever she looked, it just seemed like either you're trying really hard or you are on something. And it's not like she didn't stutter when she talked.
Yeah.
She spoke very clearly and precise and concise. It was just watching her eyes go around the room. I've never seen anybody do that.
Well, I think one of the things that we have learned like recently, especially in interviews and stuff with her, is that she seems to be like intimidated by like the cameras and everything, like TV, I guess the TV and everything. And I'm kind of wondering if the whole like huge ass, theater was like, holy shit, there's all these people here. And that which seems kind of odd considering you're a performer. But then again, you're a performer. So when you're not performing, you're usually not on stage. And we know when she performs, she checks into a different, like, I won't say persona per se, but she is definitely like totally different than when she's not performing. And I feel like when she's not performing, she gets overwhelmed by everything that's going on around her. However, it was a little weird. It was a little odd. It was because she wasn't like, usually when people have that issue, like, oh my God, crowds, like you try to find something to focus on. And she had a pretty big, massive thing to focus on, RuPaul, sorry. So she could have just focused on her and maybe looked out to the crowd, to her family, her mother, and who was that? Was that her boyfriend? No, that wasn't her boyfriend.
Her friend David.
Yeah, her friend. Yeah, who made the costumes? Yeah. So yeah, I feel like maybe if he had done that and supposed to like.
Well, so here's my thing. This is what I felt she was doing the whole time. Because notably, when they're on stage, they're not facing each other. They're facing like to a 45-degree angle to their camera. So they each have their own camera, like across in the audience or something. But I noticed the camera kept like this way. Like she was always like, it was almost like she didn't want to look at Rue, which I thought was very weird. I was like, what are you doing, girl? Because she was always just smiling and big-eyed and looking over this direction, which was in the direction of her mother and her friend David, but she wasn't looking at them. She was always looking up. So she was always like looking to the balcony or to the ceiling, to the sky, to the eye. It was confusing me. And so I agree with Chester when you're like, was she under the influence? I was like, it kind of looked like she was high, but she didn't seem to be.
Yeah, I don't think that was marijuana. I think it was something else. Like, I don't know, a lot of caffeine or some Adderall. I don't know.
some growth hormone injections or steroids. I don't know. I know that was shitty of me to say, but it's just, I don't know. That was something I definitely noticed as Chester asked the question, was she under the influence? I was like, yeah, I don't know, but I don't know if anybody's really going to talk about it. That's why we brought it up.
Drew says Ambien.
Funny, it didn't make her a racist. So,
ooh, girl.
Sorry.
Too
soon?
How about you?
Oh gosh, back to the doc. So as always with the interviews, there's always those moments that, and again, it's okay. This is the part of the show where I'm gonna start getting like over like the production of shit. I feel so there were these very moving drama-filled moments. Well, like we were talking about Cameron. Cameron got a message from her grandmother who she didn't know had seen the show and everything and was very supportive. And that was very moving and touching. But I was watching the interviews and one of the things that kept bothering me, a la the reunion, is like we're poking at emotional like drama moments for the sake of television. Like they wanted Cameron to cry. They wanted, Eureka to be upset, especially when her mother tried to speak and she has it looks like the stoma in, it's just very like, I get it. And while it's emotional and as someone who deals in a lot, I get that. But for me, it felt very much kind of forced, a little bit, to where like we want to get a reaction out of you, so we're going to do this. Like, why would they not tell Cameron we were able to speak to your grandmother has seen the show, like to prepare her for that kind of thing? Because if you've not talked to your grandmother and if you've not talked to her about something as big in your life as this, then that's going to be a big emotional, like, she handled it well. Like, it's going to be a big emotional, like, moment for you. And to me, it's not something I necessarily would have wanted to share with 200 million people or whoever's fucking watching the show. So that's just my opinion. I'm kind of like over this whole like kind of production value where we're kind of pulling things out for the tear jerkers and the what have yous.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, I get that. I thought that out of the four of them, one was practiced, one was poised, one was prepared, and I don't know what the fourth one was. But just calling back to Cameron's question, or to Chester's question about Cameron, because I was like, I felt that that Asia was practiced. She's a pageant queen. She's been through Q&A many times, understands how to handle herself. Even did really well with the emotional question that seemed to catch her off guard, asking her about if she could talk to her parents, what would she say?
Yeah.
I felt that Aquaria was poised in that she kind of did some practicing in that. And, she was very careful about how she answered and how she like framed herself, how she sat. And I felt that Eureka was just prepared. Like, she's done some pageant stuff before and she's, done questioning and has kind of been through all of this basically. So she was prepared for it. Cameron, on the other hand, she reminded me of like a little kid who gets let loose like at a candy store and just doesn't know what to do first. It is just like wide-eyed and staring at everything. Yeah. So, I thought that was an interesting point. In regards to her grandmother and the reveal, I'm not so sure how I feel about that myself, because it appeared that even her mother didn't know about it, which means her mother just saw tape of her mother-in-law, like, saying that, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, you could say all you want about like RuPaul's Drag Race bringing families together. You might want to like talk to them about that first. I mean, this wasn't Maury Povich, but come on, like, how far are we gonna, take this? So there's that. We ready to move on to the meat of the matter? All right. Maybe.
Ladies, this is your last chance to impress me and save yourself from elimination. Time has come. Should lip sync for your life. Good luck, and don't fuck it up.
Okay, so I did get the new clip for the finale where I realized that Ruth has a very different. And she's like, lip sync for the crowd. Yeah. So lip sync rounds. Chester.
So obviously Aquaria did her research. She practiced the shit out of her numbers. That was very, very evident because, so let's see, how old is Aquaria? She's what, 22?
I think so.
If the song that she first lip synced to is 25 years old, so it was already 3 years old by the time Aquaria came around. So that song would have been, outdated by the time she was listening to music. And she went back and she studied the fuck out of that video because Janet Jackson is very much known for the choreographies that she does in her music videos, particularly that dance during the breakdown of If. Like, that's one of her most iconic dances. And she did that choreography perfect. And then you've got Eureka standing in the background, just walking around, doing whatever the fuck she's doing.
Her high kicks. Hi-ya. Ha.
That was okay. So if you look at the other two, if you look at Cameron and I guess kind of Asia had things planned. Like, they look like they had an idea in their head what they were going to do. Aquaria comes on stage. It looked like she practiced the shit out of the entire dance from start to finish. She knew when to do that choreographed dance. And then you've got Eureka just walking around doing what Eureka does. It's a lot of shaking of her head and a lot of high kicks and a lot of splits. And I guess it's called pounding her pussy or whatever. Where she does splits and kind of like hops.
Yeah, it was
very. At the end of it, I was like, during the whole thing, I was like, oh, Aquaria is going to win this. After she did the breakdown, I was like, oh, she's definitely going to win this. And then she doesn't. And they're like, no, we're going to, both of you are moving on. And I'm just scratching my head like, why? What the fuck did Eureka do that was so good that put her on the same level as Aquaria? And you can see it on Aquaria's face that when they're standing there and Rue says, that you're both staying, you can see it on her face that she's yes. And I don't blame her. honestly makes me think that, you know, the entire season, everybody keeps saying, you know, well, the show is manufactured. You know, Rue has it in her head which one she wants to win. And while I kind of sort of believed it, I was never really on board with that. But you know what? Going back through the rest of the season, yeah, I have a feeling she wanted Eureka to win the entire fucking season because I said it. Oh, it was when I made the post on my Facebook that I was like, hashtag Team Eureka, because I don't want to see her in All Stars 4. And somebody had made the comment like, I doubt she will be because she's already had a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, and now a fifth chance. So it's like, how many more times can Rue push the woman through?
I'm not going to touch that one, but I'm about to. But for me,
so I just want to say this about the Aquaria looking pissed. When I saw it live, I was like, oh my God, she is ready to just like chop people to pieces. Like just go full Dexter on the stage in a rage of whatever. But then I thought I saw, and I don't know where and when this happened, I thought I saw someone had said that there was rumor that Aquaria had fallen during her lip sync and that was edited out, and we didn't see that. So then when I watched it today and I go back and I'm like, okay, so if it's between her and Eureka only, and that's when she fell, it would make sense to me also that she was upset because she didn't expect to be saved because she fucked up. Which would be another reason to be angry, because you'd be angry at yourself, like that you messed up.
Yeah.
I don't know for certain one way or the other, but it was quite apparent that she was not a happy camper at that moment. Eureka, on the other hand, is her effervescent ball of sunshine always, like happy and like, and I'm like, okay, like here we go.
I think honestly, again, as I mentioned, I know we've talked about this several times about especially like the production and this remake and everything. I feel that the double save was a ploy, gimmick, whatever, to kind of keep us guessing. Because I'll kind of go into mine and then I'll kind of keep talking. So I wrote down poor Asia, and this is why. I feel and fear that she lost only because her reveal bombed so terribly that there is no way I'm saving you. I'm sorry. Like it was I know she's apologized and everything else. It was just not one of the greatest ideas. I don't know what it would have looked like. But again, I don't think it would have been a really great idea also because of just it's live animals and, you know, it's butterflies. And if they flew out into the crowd, Anyway, it seemed very extreme. And it also seemed like a stupid idea, given if they know what the songs are. And I hope to God they do. I don't think they get it like the day of, considering how well practiced Aquaria was. I don't think they get it like the day of or 2 days before or a week before. I think they have it for a few months. Because if you're going to make an outfit, the butterfly outfit with the reveal, you're probably not going to get that made like in 2 days. But I think it was a poorly executed idea that did not fit any of the 2 songs that were lip-synced. And it just added to me that here we are with this finale and it's all kind of produced. And when you get to the, like, we need to put 3 people in. I mentioned it in my comments in the Entourage chat. The final song was Bang Bang, which is done by 3 people. So it's like, come on.
Right. So it begs the question, was that pre-planned ahead of time or was that the plan B?
Yeah.
Like, was there always a potential that there would have been a tie in one of the last lip syncs before the finale? So now I will own that I had some spoiler information slightly. And that's why when I created the poll, I put that weird fourth option in there, or fifth option, that said that there would be a head-to-head-to-head three-way, because someone had taken us like an Instagram and had posted something from the finale, and it was shared over on social media, and it pissed me off because it had two text things, and one of them was there's a three-way tie. And that made me mad because I don't like spoiler shit. Just personally, I just want to watch it and see it. It just, however they put it together is how they put it together. Yeah. And that's why I put that in there, because I was like, all right, if this is true or it's misleading, we'll find out. And that's where I was like, all right, how does that work? Okay, well, two people compete, one person does badly, which kind of happened. Two people compete, they both somehow tie. Then you end up with a three, and that's how you get to there. But you bring up an excellent point, you know, Damon, where, all right, well, you picked a song and it just happens to have three people that sing it. But when I rewatched it today, I didn't get the impression that each of the girls took a character. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like Lady Marmalade where,
yeah,
you know what I mean, where there's like 5 or 6 and everybody has a distinct voice and they only speak when, like, that was anyways, I'm gonna stop before I get in mine. Go ahead, Damon.
I think well, I'm just gonna, and what was I going to say? So, go ahead.
There was just something really quick that I wanted to say when you were talking about Aquaria, or not Aquaria, Asia in her reveal. And particularly, yeah, her reveal didn't match any of the songs that were done. Now, I don't know if there were other possible songs, but clearly, judging by the preparation that Aquaria did, they had a pretty good notion which songs they were going to be doing. That being said, even if Asia's reveal worked, what the fuck was the rest of her routine? Because she didn't do anything else.
Okay, so I feel like I looked at it. I haven't looked at it again, but I did look at it. And one of the things I realized was she was relying, I hate to say it, I fear that Asia was relying very heavily on this reveal. Like very heavily. Because when you see her after, like, she attempts to do one of the things, like the breast and everything else, there's this moment, there was literally a moment where I feel like she's doing like the Charleston, like she's and I feel like she's literally like doing something because holy shit, what I wanted to do didn't work. I need to come up with something fast. And a la, like if it seemed very odd and improv, and or either that or what she was hoping to happen with the reveal, who knows what she was expecting to happen, obviously didn't happen. And then now all the stuff that she said she had rehearsed and done, she now can't do. So it's now, holy shit, I now have to do something else, and I have to do it very quickly because I'm dancing or standing here next to Cameron, who Cameron is always prepared, especially with lip sync. So
and so I agree with you, Damon, in that I think the first, what was it, Chester?
What was that, Chester?
Cameron was not prepared for Bang Bang. He did most of the song, did not know any of the rap. If you go back and look, especially the part with Nicki Minaj, he didn't do any of it.
I'll have to look at that because that not surprises me, but because again, knowing Cameron, let's just be honest. I don't think Cameron expected to be in the top 2. If they had done what they were supposed to do, I don't think she expected to be in the top 2.
She might have, if because my understanding is before the girls get to the finale, and I don't know how far out, and I get the feeling it's not very far out before the finale's taped, they're told what songs to prepare for. So they're probably given like a list of 6, knowing that there's only most likely going to be 3 from the 6 that you have to be ready for. And it might very well be like 2, 2, and 2, like 2 Janet Jackson songs, maybe 2 Mariah Carey songs, 2 Whitney songs. I don't know. You know what I mean? And so like you kind of like, you have a feel and you can sort of prepare, but you're not really truly going to prepare. And that may have thrown Cameron off a little bit. It may have thrown everybody off. To the Asia thing, I think the first reveal from her wrist with the butterflies was the instant the train wreck began to happen, because she expected one thing to happen and it didn't. And those 2-3 seconds where they're not leaving and they're not flying away and nobody can understand what's happening, I think the fear starts to set in. And then she continues on with what she's doing. She's listening to the song. She knows it well enough to know when to do the next thing. So then she takes off the biggest cone boob thing on her outfit, and then nothing really seems to happen, and everybody's confused a little bit. Cameron's not paying any attention.
Cameron didn't know at all.
Yeah.
Not until the end. Did you notice?
Yeah.
Done. She's standing there and she kind of looks down and is like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, she's literally staring at the stage very distinctly, and you could tell she's probably staring at 2 or 3 butterflies that are just hanging out on the stage. Not really, they're not flying. They're just kind of sitting there.
I do want to say really quickly, just because James said, was there ever a chance the reveal could work? And I think it would have worked. Jim was telling me, we talked after because he saw the reveal, and he feels that unfortunately it was maybe the lights, that it was so warm on stage potentially that's what caused it. Maybe they didn't. I'm not saying they were dead, because I don't think I saw any just like fall, but I feel like it was just the fact that they were so warm that they just became, I don't want to say sleepy or whatever, but they.
Well, like air temperature is a big thing, and that's something like I didn't research it, but that's known for weddings. Like people want to do butterflies at weddings, they want to do doves or birds, or I don't know. Animals are unpredictable. They like certain environments and they have to be rehearsed. And while Asia did have a post on Twitter and a comment from one of her staff, like one of her, I don't know, entourage or whatever, that helps her, said, we had practiced this and we had practiced it at home and it went off beautifully. And I thought, yes, but that's at home. That's not in a stage in LA. That's not in a theater. And understandably, you probably didn't ask, World of Wonder Productions for like secretive alone time to do the reveal on stage to see how it would work. So you took a huge ass gamble trying to do it. The other thing I think they maybe didn't calculate was the amount of time Asia was going to stand in that costume, that outfit, until the reveals happened.
Yeah.
Because they came out on stage and she's wearing the giant Bozunga outfit with all the butterflies, and it does look out of character. It looks strange. It looks odd.
It looked very strange.
It looked very like not anime, like it just looked very cartoonish, but like kind of in a weird way, and I didn't understand what was happening. And then when you see what she's doing, I was like, oh boy. But that was the thing for me, was I was like, those poor butterflies have been in there for who knows how long now. They could have been in there for 20 minutes to a half an hour by the time they finally get released. And so who knows, maybe they was all napping. I want to say for the record, it's kind of been said over and over again that none of them were dead. Like they hadn't died. They just weren't flying, like they weren't moving or whatever. So,
And then I hate to say it, the costume, once the reveal was done, just looked awful, like awful. Like, cause see, like the boobs were kind of now these these half cylinder things, and they had the netting that was kind of just like drooping out of them. It was gross.
So that kind of gets me into mind, which is the question: does an outfit matter? And here's why I ask. None of their lip sync outfits made sense to me. I didn't care for any of them. Asia's was the most cohesive in terms of theme because we know what she was going for, but it doesn't go with the song in any way, shape, or form. And that makes me think that they didn't get the songs until like a week or two before the event, where they had been planning outfits all along. Case number 2, Aquaria. I'm sorry, that Jiffy Pop, like muffin tin bottom, whatever the fuck that thing was she wore when she came out, I was like, oh, good gravy. What in the hell is this? Because you are not known for doing Lady Gaga extravagant shit like this. Yeah. And she instantly drops it. And now I'm like, what am I looking at? A naked Stegosaurus? Like, like I'm so confused. Like you're pale and you're pink and you've got pointy horns all over the place. I was like, I don't understand it. And then towards the end of the song, she takes the two that are the breast codes and twists them and pops off the covers. And now they kind of look more like tits because they have like little pinky areolas. And I'm like, I don't get it. And they don't do anything. There's no sparklers. There's no spray. There's no foam. They don't like milk. They don't teat. They don't spray the audience. Rue doesn't get a mouthful of nothing. I was like, what was the point of that? That outfit made zero sense to me. And for that alone, I was like, you need to go home. You may be a fashion queen, but this does not make jack shit sense to me. I'm sorry. And I'm not, and nobody's off the hook. All of them, their outfits. I was like, all right, so Cameron comes out. I mean, my favorite meme was actually right before the finale aired, and someone said, I wonder if there's going to be a reveal. And it had all four queens side by side, and you could tell all four of them had something up their sleeve because you got Jiffy Pop, you got like weird tits, you've got Eureka with the biggest hair and the purple Oompa Loompa outfit. And, she looks like Snuffleupagus' like back half got a dye job. And then, you've got Cameron who's wearing this weird kind of very geometric kind of capey thing. Like,
and that's like, of all the reveals, like that was the most basic one. And that was the one, I hate to say it, that kind of actually worked.
Well, yeah, because all she had to do was just like and take the jacket off. That, by the way, Cameron, not that you're ever going to see this, but if you do happen to see the show, girl, you got to tell. You have to watch your hands because you have a really bad habit of taking your right hand and putting it over your abdomen, over your belly button, which makes it look like you're going to spend the next 20 seconds trying to unfasten something. Like you're going to rip the Velcro, the button, the zipper, the something. So you got to be careful when you do this because then I'm watching your hand the entire time. I quit watching your lips. I quit watching your gams and your legs and anything else. I'm looking for the reveal because it's so far in advance that you're about to do something. And she did it both times. She lip sync. Even in the second one with when she tore the dress thing off. So I asked the question, does an outfit matter? Because I was like, we're saying that the outfits don't match the song. So I get it. You come prepared with a look. Maybe you don't get the song too far in advance. By the time you're told the song, you're like, well, fuck, this don't help nothing. But maybe you should pick an outfit that's a little more
only
down the middle.
Outfit that worked. Well, not the only one, but in Aquaria's outfit in Bang Bang worked.
Yes, I agree there.
Is it also because of the gun? But I also feel like if I remember the video correctly, Jessie J wears something very similar, but maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
I've never seen the Bang Bang video, but when Aquaria and Cameron were on the stage, they kind of reminded me of like a burlesque look, and Bang Bang is a song that I could see in a burlesque. So their outfits made sense for that song.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It just was different. And I just wish that they had. Okay. So, again, production, blah, 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 bullshit. Like, I wish someone would have said, all of you need to edit or something. Because to me, the reveals was kind of the big thing that happened in season 9. We got the Trinity Taylor, we got the peppermint like wig and dress kind of come off, and that was really awesome. We had the Roses reveal from Sasha Velour, and that worked. Those were, I think, kind of pretty good ones overall. Not necessarily, and they weren't expected, I don't believe, especially the Roses. We'll just say that. Again, I when I saw the outfits and I saw the picture, like the meme that you're talking about, Gary, I knew exactly what was going to happen, and that made me not as enthused. And even if I hadn't necessarily seen the meme, but I saw them come out the way they did, I would have known there was going to be something being revealed on all of them, because it just.
Right, and that gets us back to our All-Star Season 3 discussion about Shangela being a stunt queen. And prior to that, All-Star Season 9 finale, and how each of the girls kind of had a planned stunt. I didn't read the article, but there is an article out there apparently where Eureka says if she had the finale to do over again, she would definitely have pulled a stunt. She felt that she didn't plan stunts like the other queens did. And the only thing that was really Eureka's was more reveals, like just changing outfits slightly, or like in the last song, she rips off the front of her corset to reveal the actual corset, which looks awkward when you don't win. Just saying. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. In a way, I feel like they all fell victim like to being in their own head.
Yeah.
Like, and nobody was there. Like, one of the things I said, so AJ and Drew were here with me. We watched it live streaming on online. And the whole Asia thing happens, and we went to commercial break. And I was like, I don't know how to say this, but I can't believe I'm going to say this about Asia. I feel her gaze failed her. I can't believe nobody talked to her about the possibility of how badly this could go, about the negative consequences of this, about how PETA would come after her ass. You know what I mean? Like the ASPCA, like that this could really go badly. And I'm thinking, did you think about after the fact? Like there's more of the show to be done, like to be produced. So what are you like? How do the butterflies get collected? Where do they go? Like, I mean, there was just so many questions I had as a person who thinks about that kind of stuff with staging and that. And I'm like, I just can't believe that nobody, and I guess the reason why it drove me crazy was because Asia comes from a pageant world where I expect all of that stuff to be handled in advance and practiced and rehearsed. And so you find out later that, yes, they had practiced it, but I was like, yeah, but you didn't practice it right. You didn't do it in the space, in the stage with an auditorium like full of 1,000 people or however many, and all the lights and the cameras. I mean, it was just, I just feel so bad for her that it was the biggest gamble in Drag Race history and it did not work.
Yeah.
And even if it had worked, I'm still not sure how good it would have been. But because as Bob the Drag Queen apparently said, yes, Bob the Drag Queen and Delta Work do a pit stop of the finale. And Bob the Drag Queen's like, if you're going to do this, you do hundreds of butterflies. Like on a stage that big with that big of an audience, like you basically have to overwhelm them.
Right. It can't just be 10. Nobody's going to see that shit.
No.
Well, I mean, look at what Aquaria did for the Bang Bang finale. She had 2 paper firecrackers hiding in her outfit that she pulls out. Very specifically, she knew the song well enough because it's a recent song from what, 2014, roughly. So it's like about, 4 or 5 years ago. So she's well aware of it. She knows exactly the right 2 beats to let off the confetti cannon type little firecracker thing. And the second one is the most effective because it's right at the end of the damn song on the final beat. And so I'm like, well, there you go. Like she knew kind of what she was up to in that case. And yeah, her final outfit, I have to agree. Like that's the one that was probably well thought out in that it was branding her. Like as for Dusty Ray Bottoms being known for spots, Aquaria is now going to be known for stars. Because she's carried that through in a couple of her looks. She did it with like the dangly stuff and on her, runway outfit. And then at the finale, it's on the cape, it's on her face and the makeup. Like I'm like, all right, I get it. Like Aquaria, you are a constellation. You are a star. So yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where I was just like, all right, well, this is definitely a finale to remember. I just don't know. I don't know. I think that when it comes to my question about the outfit, I don't have an answer and it bugs me because I feel like Eureka decided to do what drag is. She decided to show up and to just do lip sync and not really have anything else prepared. I think Cameron was kind of prepared the same way. Yeah. Like, yeah, you have reveals, but that's about it. And I'm wondering if it's a new kind of thing that people have to figure out, like what's more important. Like, should you have like props and stunts and and this other stuff as opposed to just an outfit and gimmicks and lip sync? Which gets us to the end, our last call.
Gentlemen, start your engines and may the best woman win.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to talk about the best woman winning. Instead, Chester, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I think the best woman won in the evening. Based on performances, I think she did the best job out of all of them. Maybe not over the entire season. I mean,
Go
well,
ahead, Chester.
certainly Eureka didn't do better than she did. Obviously, Asia didn't, so that leaves Cameron.
And as we're now finding out, Cameron didn't want to win to begin with.
Bitch.
So,
girl.
we got in our chat. Eric had posted a photo of Cameron putting a post up. I'm guessing it's maybe on Instagram or I don't know, someplace. And it's several paragraphs long, but basically she says, if I had won, it would have been a nightmare and it would have been horrible for me and my fans. And
wow.
I get it though, because I mean, it fits the narrative. The narrative was, I have a career, I do hair. I kind of stopped doing drag. I submitted a tape and then I got on the show. Now, here's the thing. I feel like, bitch, you agreed to be on the show. You could have backed out the moment you were told that you were going to be on the show. You could have declined and said, you know what, actually, I've reconsidered it and I don't want to be on this season. Yeah. I just stepped away. But instead, you decided to carry through. And then you're like, you know, cat in a room full of rocking chairs. You're always quiet. You're nervous. You're never sure about what's going to go on. You get this whole crazy narrative about how like you're being calculating and you don't like talking in front of the camera. So you run the whole thing and then you make it and you get to the final four, you know, and so you're really talented. You do a lot of good stuff. And then
she had plenty of chances to bow out.
Not only that, she had plenty of opportunity to just like bomb. Like if you're so intimidated and you so don't want to be here anymore or whatever else, all she had to do was take one. I mean, honestly, all she had to do was lose a wig during a lip sync. Done.
And yet she wouldn't, because she loves doing drag and she feels that her art is her like entertainment, like she's a performer. Yeah. So she ends up in this weird, you know, limbo land of not wanting to win, not wanting, you know, to do that, yet at the same time not go down in a ball of flames, I guess. I don't know.
Well, there you go.
So Chester, what are your...
All I have to say is after Asia's stunt, they need to stop doing stunts and get up there and be drag queens.
Yes. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Like that is that.
I don't know. So obviously Sasha pulled a stunt. I don't know if I'm not bothered by it because it was executed so well or because it spoke well to the song choice. Her look, you know, there was something about when Sasha did it, it was a performance and it was art and it worked.
It was so well executed. Like
unless Asia was singing Mariah Carey's Butterfly, that shit did not work. I don't know a song that would. Well, I'm sure there probably are lots of songs that would work for it.
The song, when I was thinking about it, the song that popped in my head in regards to like a song where butterflies would kind of work, that's a Janet Jackson song, is Together Again. Because it's about like, that's the only one in my head that would work. And I don't think they would have ever lip synced to that song. Something
upbeat and happy and free. Sure. Yeah, that's fine. But it just wasn't executed well. It was a bad idea from the jump. So we've talked about this before. At what point do the drag queens doing these things, is it a stunt? And is it worthy of even being in there? You know, does that make them a better drag queen because they've pulled off a stunt? I don't think so. But in Sasha's case, I think it was a well-conceived, cohesive piece of performance for her drag.
Right. And so James says in the live chat, not everyone can be Sasha. That is an accurate statement. But here's what I think happened. Sasha set the bar. And Sasha Velour set the bar so fucking high. And that's where the problem now lies, because everybody will be compared to that in Drag Race history. And it's either you've got it down and you have it perfect, and no matter what happens, it will be fabulous and flawless, or it won't.
Okay, so Aquaria had those firecracker confetti tubes. I didn't think that was bad that she had those and that she popped them off towards the end of the song. I think it fit the song. It fit.
Yes.
The timing of her doing it was well executed.
Yeah.
It wasn't ridiculously over the top. It kind of sort of included the people around her. I mean, if you weren't fully paying attention, you would have just thought they came from the sky or, you know, from up above, and not something that she did herself.
The issue is it needed to, in order for a stunt, gimmick, reveal, whatever to work, is it has to be well planned, well executed, and honestly well practiced. And obviously Aquaria knew exactly when to let those things off, because it worked so well with the song. The song's fucking called Bang Bang Ta-Da. It works. Like, it just all kind of worked. Sasha Velour's so emotional performance piece, as you call it, it worked on so many levels, because one, we weren't expecting it at all. Two, with everything, it was so well composed that it just helped with everything, helped elevate everything. You know, it added something exciting to me. I mean, even if she had just done the lip sync, I think she would have. It was very well done, and she was doing it in a way differently than Shay was doing it, because the song is meant to be about, you know, I love this guy so much, da 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 da. So, ta-da, it works.
So I want to address, so Q asks in the live chat, Roby wants to know, how do you define or differentiate stunts versus reveals? Sasha's stunt was just a reveal of rose petals under her wig. So I think all three of us have different takes on this. Me personally, I see stunts and reveals as two different things. I do not categorize them together. A reveal is something that happens unexpectedly, that is planned, and most likely is a part of your attire and your performance, but I think is like, you know, and me, it's mostly about outfits or wig change. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so nothing aesthetically has drastically changed about you other than this thing. So your gown goes from purple to green, or, you know, the stunts for me are far more dramatic, and are meant to be like pearl clutching, gasping, and you are manipulating the audience emotionally, like, and in a way a stunt can take you away from the drag that is being done. It's almost kind of like it's a magic act, if that makes sense. So it's not so much revealing anything, it's more distraction. So I guess I would say a reveal is enhancement and a stunt is distractionary. So one relates to what you're watching, one has nothing to do with what you're watching at all. And so Asia's, I guess in that case, is meant to be more of a reveal, but it feels like a stunt because it didn't work. And Aquaria's really is, you know, I guess more of a, using my own definition, I guess it's more reveal. I don't know. Like, it's just, it's an interesting question to ask, but I really feel definitively like one works. It was kind of a gag. And that was my bitch about Shangela last season and All-Star Season 3. I felt like everything, she was just working it for a comedy aspect to do a certain thing that just really got on my nerves after a certain point.
But what if that's her thing?
And if you're,
Well, then that's her new thing, because that's not what her thing was before. Her thing before was shablamming. Her thing before was being fierce and being a dancer and doing death drops. And she still does them, even though she broke her fucking leg. So that's, I guess, what really pissed me off is like, I know that you can lip
her
sync.
leg doing a death drop.
She did, yeah.
Did you miss that?
I must have missed it because I didn't know it.
Oh yeah, girl, that was probably like 3 years ago. She did it at a gig in New York City. She literally broke her leg with the femur poking through the like through, and oh yeah, it was horrendous. Luckily, she had like 6 pairs of tights on. Well, no, she had a leotard on, and she had a 6 pairs of tights, and it kept everything in place. And she's talked about it outline and all this stuff, and she was out of commission for like 8 months, and it was really bad.
Yeah.
But anyway,
again,
like she was known for dancing. She still does dancing. That was the part that bugged me. She came back to All Stars 3, and I felt that her interpretation was she always had to bring a thing, especially when she was lip syncing for her
legacy.
And I was like, really? Why don't you just fucking lip sync? Why you gotta have a prop? Why you gotta have another thing? Anyways,
like to me, like I don't call them stunts. I call them gimmicks, and sometimes gimmicks work. Sometimes gimmicks don't work. Gimmicks are meant to be eye-catching and distracting, like you said, Gary. And whereas a reveal is a sort of a gimmick, but usually for some queens, a reveal is a quick, like sudden, like, oh my God, like there's something there. Like a wig change, a dress change. Like Peppermint's last year's wig throw and outfit change was a reveal, a gimmicky reveal to me.
I'd call it a reveal. So
gimmicks were a lot of what Shangela did in All Stars 3. It doesn't necessarily, it's funny. It doesn't really add anything to the song. It doesn't really add anything to the person. It's just something that they're doing. Her like fat suit, her throwing the Altoids mints with the glasses and kind of being the nerdy girl with the I kiss a girl kind of thing. Those are the things that like, gimmicky. So yeah.
So I want to give Chester the chance to finish his last call.
Oh no, we can go on. We can wait until the end.
Oh, okay.
So for me, I'm just saying, can we talk about the dancers, the cameos, and the Her Story kind of thing going on that happened in this? Obviously, because it was the season 10 finale, they kind of pulled out all the stops. They had these very interesting, unique dancers that kind of distracted, as it were, from a lot of things. I loved their like the original, like when Rue came out and they danced with Rue and Rue actually danced with them and kind of worked. And then they kind of would come out like after each contestant interview and do something really kind of cool and funny. And they're all kind of cute. It kind of worked, yay for them. And then in regards to just the cameos, Dame Judi Dench, Oprah Winfrey, so many of those like famous people that kind of come out and doing these things and talking about the show. Sally Jessy Raphael did the history of Drag Race. She did that whole thing, and I was like, so that's sort of my final kind of thoughts. I love that they gave the finale what it was due, since it was season 10. As it said, it started with 9 queens in a like pack alley, basically doing this show, to now we're on this huge ass stage, doing some really somewhat great things. And while I talk about like the overproduction and all of that stuff, that really kind of made me feel good seeing, yes, there's a history and there's all this stuff and there's all these queens. Now, they couldn't have obviously brought every season 10 queen, every season's queen in, but I think a good amount of showing some of, especially like the original queens, I really like that, because a lot of people don't realize that it kind of had a very weird, rough start, and now it got so popular that it's now on a popular network and done. And I feel that that's kind of to its detriment.
Well, you bring up a good point, Damon, and all I want to say is I was disappointed that after the season 1 queens were revealed, nobody else was.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was going to keep continuing. Thought it was going to be season 2, then season 3, then like they were going to go all the way up, and it would have been way better dramatically and I think emotionally to have like each of the queens get revealed from each season, and they go backstage, and then they have risers hiding, and then all like 112 or as many of the 112 queens outside of the season they could get to appear to be in present on stage in full face and makeup. That would have been really fucking dramatic, I think, because that would have been showing the legacy of what the show has done in 10 seasons.
Could you imagine the dressing rooms?
Well, but the season 1 queens showed up in one outfit and they stayed in one outfit from what I can tell.
True.
It was only the season 10. It was only season 10 that changed, and even then, it was only the top 4 that had multiple outfits. Like, I noticed something interesting. Pretty much what everybody showed up on runway in is all they wore. There was no real, like, flip-flopping around, like wearing one outfit on the runway, like, or on the red carpet, and then one outfit on stage. Like, that used to seem to be a thing. Not anymore. Like, unless you're one of the top, like, competing ones, that doesn't seem to happen. So I thought the recap, of the seasons and stuff was really good. I was a little disappointed that Sally Jessy Raphael was not there, but I could hear how old her voice is. Not to be shady, but she's older now. So I thought that was really good. My last call is the drama has to come to a close, and because the season's over, and I'm kind of tired of all the roller coaster of the stuff that's happened. I do want to give a recognition to the interesting turnabout about who won Miss Congeniality. So apparently, Miss Congeniality was an online poll, and it was taken down within the first 24 hours. And there was all this speculation online that there was some shenanigans going on. So we get to the finale and come to find out the way they spin it, which I think is partly truth, was that the poll results were being manipulated. And so they decided to yank it, and instead they asked the season 10 cast queens to vote for Miss Congeniality.
Which is how it kind of should be.
And Monet Exchange wins.
Yes.
So Sponge Dress ends up winning something. And when you see the video of how they cast their votes, I thought that was interesting because it was not a landslide. It seemed like almost everybody got a vote.
Not everybody.
No, I know, but like it was pretty widespread, and so it was not a overwhelming kind of half of everybody thought it was Monet. And this isn't to take anything away from Monet, but since they did decide to show that out of fairness, I thought that was interesting. So I'm happy for Monet in that case. But yeah, the drama has come to a close, and Chester, your final thought?
Think fuck it's over.
Yeah, I kind of agree in a sense that, all, kidding aside, this has been a very long time doing and watching Drag Race. It's I'm good right now. Like, we can stop for a little bit. Like, please stop for a little bit.
I don't know why we're bitching. We only did it for 22 weeks. Seriously. All-Star season 3 and season 10 comes to 22 out of 23 weeks because there was only like 1 week hiatus. It was pretty crazy. So yeah. That being said, I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anybody, but I want to make sure that for those that are kind of new to us, we're going to take a break. We're not going to be back Monday because we typically only do the COLDR when a season is on. So, however, in the meantime, you can give us all the love you want in many ways. You can go to our website /blog, cubsoutloud.com. You can shoot us an email, cubsoutloud@gmail.com. You can, of course, leave us a voicemail at 361-COL-TALK. It's 361-265-8255. You can leave us a ring-a-ding and tell us, yes, Queen, how much you love our show. If you're on social media, you can pretty much find us anywhere by typing in Cubs Out Loud as one word. That's Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Google+, and of course, YouTube. And if you want to keep in touch with us and see how things are going and all the kitty chat about Drag Race in general terms, you can go to tinyurl.com/telegram-COLDR. And you can join us on there. Since there will be a Drag Race season, there's no more rule about a 48-hour wait period. Basically, everything's fair game for now. If you see news and stuff that's coming up, a lot of people have been talking about, the shows that are going on, the Work the World tour, which queens are performing at local cities. Some of our folks in the chat are trying to meet up with each other when they go to see a performance. So, yay!
Yeah.
If you want to be supportive of us, you can do us a favor here at Cubs Out Loud. You can do two things. You can go to our merch store, which is zazzle.com/CubsOutLoud, and you can get yourself a cute little outfit. You can get some other items. Big thing is we have Drag Race apparel items with our logo on it with a cute little, look at that. She got a crown. She says Drag Race. And for those of you that don't know, because I don't think we ever revealed this, Chesta did the logo for this. So thank you for giving us a Queenie Bear who's roaring for all the attention that she deserves.
Yeah, in my spare time, I like tinkering around with oddball memes or the occasional thing in Photoshop, and I took our logo and I found a crown and I photoshopped it on there, and Gary's like, "Hey, I want that. Send it to me." It's like, I know there's a shirt with it.
And you can get a purse, you can get a clutch, you can get coffee bugs.
Can I get a fan?
Can I get a fan? We're working on it, I think. Maybe for next season. Also, if you're interested in Cubs Out Loud in general, you could join us as a patron at patreon.com/CubsOutLoud for as little as $1 a month, or basically 25 cents an episode, really a quarter an episode. You could support us, or you could give us more. We don't care. We've got lots of things going on in there. You get special exclusive stuff that we'll be doing between the Drag Race and regular shows. We have some extra things. You can also promote us online wherever you get your podcast. We'd appreciate it. iTunes, you can rate us. You can subscribe on Google Play Podcasts. You can give us a thumbs up on Stitcher Radio. That's all for the audio version of the show that comes out. And in the meantime, till you see us again, where can people find the two of you? Chester?
You can find me on Tumblr or Twitter under the name The Pup Up There, or various bear dating sites across the net under the name Pup Shutter or Cupcake76.
And Damon?
You could find me as Theater Cup 79 on most bear and other sites, including Tumblr, or you can find me as pup_Umbra on Twitter.
And if you would like to get in touch with me and chat about Drag Race stuff, you can find me as GareBear73. That's GARBEAR73, pretty much on Growler, Tumblr, that kind of stuff. That said, we're going to take it one last time to the moon as we wrap up the season. Bye.
Bye.